Yo, Food Service Power Plant Network. Hey, industry friends, it's Jason Wayne's Monday night. Spring is in the air where I live. I hope you are well. Hope the sun is shining, the sky is blue. You're able to get outside, move your body, take a walk, go for a jog, whatever you're doing, throw baseball with the community. I hope it's great where you are. Listen, tonight we've got an incredible conversation with my good friend, Matt Rigney. I met Matt through the Food Service Power Plant Network when Matt joined a few years ago. And like anything good in our industry, so much of what we rely on and depend on is people. It's the relationships that become the most important thing. And Matt has just become a good and trusted friend and continues to be an unbelievable ambassador for our industry. Matt, amongst other, Matt works for Panasonic. He is coming up with all new strategies around what they're doing and how they're going to market. He is a chef. So he's going out and cooking and using his love of food in service to the industry and benefiting Panasonic. He is also he's a huge part of SHFM, one of our favorite associations. And Matt, tomorrow morning is I think he's flying down, he said, down to Washington, D.C. for the SHFM CIC Critical Issues Conference down in D.C., where so many of our friends will be, where he'll accept the award for the Spirit Award from SHFM, and nothing fits him better than that. Listen, a couple of things. If you've got a pen and paper, I would grab a pen. Matt's probably got some ideas, things that you might want to hear in your journey. Matt's like all of us, just he's a human figuring out how we do this food service industry, living his story, and he's got things that you might want to hear. Okay, next, I'm checking Facebook real quick just because to see who's talking. And you know what? Look who it is. It's our friend Kevin Coachman with KCL. Yo, Kevin. Excited for tonight with Matt. You and me both, Kevin. Man, I can't wait to see you soon. I don't know if you'll be at NRA, but I sure hope so. And congrats to Eve for the long distance drive winning. Heck yes. Look who else is here. Xena Daters in the house. Stinking awesome. Listen, a couple thanks real quick. First, to the team at Zumba Group, FNS Magazine. A huge gratitude from me. I am so grateful for you all. I got to do some emailing with Maureen over the weekend. They have just been such supporters from the very beginning, spreading this message of positivity and understanding the power of story to the industry. That's what they do. They help tell the industry stories. So thank you to all of you for believing in what we're doing and being such great friends. And to the team at Crave and Company. Holy smokes, Chelsea and Eric and Rachel and Nicolette and Carolyn and so many wonderful friends who have been just amazing and helpful in getting the Food Service Power Plant story off the ground. They've built our website. If you haven't seen it, all of our conversations, including last week's with Farmer Lee Jones, are there. Go check out fspowerplant.com. And you'll see over 100 conversations right now with industry leaders sharing their story. Mike Colligan's in the house. Matt is always positive and a great person to work with and be around. Heck yes, I love it. Who else is here? We got a lot of people on tonight. Mary Dunn is in the house. Hey, who's this? Excited to be with you and Matt. There we go. Let's find another one. Here we go. Mary Dunn is in the house. Oh, that's Don. Yo, Don, what's up, brother? Check it in from Ignite. That's awesome. Rich Maliki. Yo, Jay Wayne. Yo, Rich. What's up, buddy? This is our friend Mary Dunn from now South Carolina. Hi, Mary. I hope you are great, my friend. Listen, let's go find him. The man, the myth, Matt Rigney. You've got
in the middle of having one of my favorite cups of water.
You are awesome. I didn't know anyone ever bought those power plant mugs.
It actually arrived this afternoon. I ordered it last week. I didn't know if I was going to make it, but I'm like, what a great way to start. When you're on a talk show, you got to have a talk show mug. You know, it's like the Johnny Carson show, if anyone remembers Johnny Carson.
That is epic, man. I don't even have one of those mugs. That is so great.
I'll sell you mine. It was just for the bit. That was all.
You nailed the bit. I love it. Matt is the man, says Rich Maliki. Love the cup, says Xena. Oh, yes. Kevin Jackson in the house. Let's go, guys. You know it. Mike Colligan, hi, Sabatino in the house, coming straight from the D.C. area. I think those guys are out of D.C., that team.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Maybe they'll be at SHFM. Mike, if you're not part of SHFM, be a part of it. It's huge. It's awesome. They're amazing. Listen, so glad to see so many friends. Matt, you've got an incredible story. You're winning the Spirit Award, which we're going to talk about later. And you might win my Spirit Award. If I were giving a Spirit Award, you would be a finalist for that award because everywhere you go, man, you hold a really fine balance and a really good balance between being genuine with what's going on in life, because it's not all sunshine and roses,
Yeah, it's true.
and also doing your best to call out what's good and encourage others and be a light and a source of positivity
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. So let me start by thanking you for that. Tell me this before we can get into your career journey.
Yeah.
What is it about you or your story that makes you that way?
So I'll go back to, and I'm gonna take it back, because I think you need a little bit to understand a little bit of the Rigney family history
Yeah.
in order to understand where it kind of all came from. So in 1913, my grandfather opened up Rigney's Ice Cream in North Providence, Rhode Island.
Wow.
He an amazing grand. I never met him. He passed away as my dad was just graduating college. My dad took over the store, and he was who made sure everyone was taken care of. Everyone was whoever walked in that store, no matter your color, no anything, you got ice, right? So that spirit drives me now, right? And that's the beginning of it. Then when we talk about more spirit, I'm a type 1 diabetic. If you know me, you're going to know I'm a type 1 diabetic. And I should have had it out, but this is not my beeper. Okay. This is my insulin pump. This is my pancreas. I carry it with me everywhere I go. Now,
Wow.
I was 8 years old and I went to a camp called Camp Jocelyn for boys with diabetes in Charlton, Mass. And I'll actually talk about this in my speech a little bit on Wednesday. But our motto was people helping people, and that was Jocelyn's spirit. Elliot P. Jocelyn started this camp in the, I want to say 30s or 40s, when diabetes, they didn't even know. I don't know if I mentioned 45 years alive and well. I have battled eye disease. I've battled all this stuff, and I'm still here. The other part of the spirit that drives me is 17 years ago, I say I've become a born again diabetic. And what that means is I was not really taking care of myself.
Okay.
I met my now wonderful wife, and it was like, either take care of yourself or I'm not sticking around for this. I went to an eye doctor. He threatened to punch me in the face because of the way I was taking care of myself. True story.
Wow.
And boom, this is where we are today, because that helped drive my spirit and my positivity and everything else. So, it's interesting to talk about my career part, but like, knowing 45 years of type 1 diabetes, I've had multiple, and this may get squeamish, multiple injections and surgeries to my eyes. But I'm here. I could have been dead, but I'm here. So that's the key.
Holy smokes,
Yep.
Matt.
And you know what? You got to have something driving, and you also got to have a little bit of a laugh about it too. So,
I,
I can laugh about the time I grabbed the doctor's hands as he was coming in with one of the syringes. I was like, give me that. And like, don't put that in my eye. So it's kind of a crazy part, but it's also, I can laugh about it because I'm here, and I just stay positive, and that's helped me just to get through all of this. So
well, first, man, are we glad you're here. And it's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day. Oftentimes, none of us love hard times. We don't like when crummy things happen to us. You have yet to meet anyone who does. Yet,
yeah.
oftentimes, the greatest creator of change in our life, of positive change, is a hard moment where we finally have had enough, or a doctor says they're going to punch us in the face, which I haven't experienced yet, but you did.
I needed it.
Right.
And he's a good friend of mine now, right? So those people who you think, maybe you didn't want to hear it, and maybe I didn't want to hear it, I now go see him, and it's like, high five. And then when he says, I don't have to see you for 6 months, and we're like, oh, that stinks, but it's actually really good too, right? So
Yeah.
Dr. Woodward, he's the man. It is, I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have all these people that have helped me out through my life. And you have to do that. You have to find the people who are going to help you and, be part of your support system, much like you have for food service power plant network and your family and your cow mill group. And, I have folks throughout the industry who I've been friends with since, I started as, as early back as the Ellis Island or all these other places that I've worked. I'm still friends with people that I worked with at the Olympics because they're still part of a community that, you have to stay in touch and it helps you. So.
Holy smokes, I love it. I'm glad that you never know. We all have a choice on what we're going to do with tough moments, and you took a tough one. You took a moment where your wife was saying, "Hey, man, can't hang around forever if you're not going to take care of you." A doctor said what they did, and you made a decision that changed things for the better. You've got a wonderful marriage and kids, and you're friends with your doctor. You're healthy. You're here. You're crushing.
Yeah, man.
Gosh, look at this. Matt is the man. David Maxwell, that's for sure. He says, heck yeah, we all have choices with what we're going to do with our challenge, what we're going to do with our pain. Matt, go back to, let's just start with some of your career journey. Outside of who you are. You're at Panasonic now, you come up with all these cool different ways of cooking and speed cooking and all these different things that you do. Sure. Give us a little bit of your career journey. How'd you get to where you are?
Yeah, so I graduated SUNY Delhi, and that's upstate New York for anyone. It's a cool tech school. I was a skateboard punk in high school. Graduated with a straight 1.74, baby. Just slid out of high school. But then I went to Delhi and I found what I really enjoyed doing, which was being part of food service, right? Be part of whether it was cooking, catering. And a lot of my career focused on catering and events because I love those large scale things. Yes. So graduated Delhi, ended up graduating with a 3.0. So I more than doubled my, my GPA from high school. So I was pretty impressed with that. But then I moved throughout. I started working at a Pearl River Hilton, and that allowed me to learn how to cook because I said, well, if I want to be a restaurant manager, I didn't know the whole industry yet, right? I was, 20 something years old, and I was like, I want to learn I want to make sure I understand how to cook within a restaurant. And I went to, this Hilton, and it was great. I got to experience line work, kitchen work, garde-manger, catering, whatever you need. I ran food up to floors if we were, in a snowstorm and we were stuck there for 3 days. So you learn everything, and I took everything in. I left for a summer to go back to the camp I was talking about. I wasn't just a camper, but I stayed throughout till 1995 as a staff member. So I was a counselor for a couple of years, and then I was also a cook, the head cook for 3 more summers. And in 95 was my last year there as a staff member, but we still do a lot of stuff in fundraising and things like that. Yeah. So I learned how to cook. I went to, I did a few years at this Hilton. Then I went over to, and I actually worked for a bagel franchising company. I almost feel like this is an interview, but I went to a bagel franchising company, and I got to learn how to train people. Like I was 26, 27 years old, training franchisees how to bake bagels, right? And we had the old school boil and turn on the wooden burlap boards and everything. And then after that, the company was going bankrupt, and I went to go work for Aramark. And that's when things really started popping for me, right? And so it was 98, went to work for Ellis Island. I told this story earlier today. I was hired. I had an interview on Wednesday. They said, can you start Monday? Because we have an event for 2,500 people. And I would be the only other person who knew how to cook other than the general manager. So wow. I jumped in, and it was fun. I was like, yeah, let's do this. And I was with Aramark for years. They sent me over to Sydney, Australia in 2000. I was one of the kitchen managers for the Olympics in Sydney. I came back, and I wanted to experience some new stuff. I jumped over to an independent restaurant, Burgers and Barbecue. That's where I really learned about barbecue. And maybe, I don't know if we'll touch on the Traeger somewhere down the line in this, but you and I know we're connected by Traegers. And then I did the independent for a couple of years, 9/11. And then our restaurant was right on the river. things, we kept it going till about 2003. We just couldn't do it anymore. So I went back to Aramark, and I opened up their 55 Water Street location in Manhattan. Then I went up. Then I was sent up to the UN to kind of clean stuff up there, and I was doing a whole bunch of stuff within Aramark. Was getting married, and it's all within, and it was all within the B&I world, the hospitality world that I'm in now. I most recently, I'll go back. I'll skip a couple years of just being an Aramark. I eventually went to go work for Cisco Foods to learn how to sell. I had taken a job as an executive chef at a college, and I realized that's not where I should have been. The story they had told me about the position wasn't. We didn't align up well. So that's just what I'll say about that. And I said to my Cisco driver, like, you sell food, like, and you are happy all the time, right? Tell me about what you do. And I got a job, and I went to go work for Cisco, and I learned how to create. And that's where my solution starts settling in, right? Where I go, wow, wait, so we can sell products to help save labor, cut vegetables or whatever, and then move on to, really create solutions for customers. And I was a street salesman, so I went to the independents. I went here and there, and it was like, wow, like I could actually help people. I was lured back into operations by the New York City Zoos, and I became the director of events and catering for about 3.5, 4 years at the all New York City parks. So whether it was Bronx Zoo, Central Park Zoo, the aquarium, they were just rebuilding, Prospect in Queens. We never did the Queens event that I wanted to do, but all the other parks we did events in. And then I found myself changing management at the zoo. That's what I'll say. And I was out and about. I worked for Verterra. We were kind of discussing, hey, Michael, to work for him for about 9 months. And Panasonic had reached out to me due to when I was out looking, they had my resume and they were like, hey, we'd love to talk to you. And I ended up here. And really, it started as a sales job. It has now turned into just culinary, a mixture of culinary and sales, and creating solutions for customers. And that has been the most, energizing part of it. So you take that long story I just said for almost 10 minutes, wrap it up in a ball, and I'm getting to use all that and help people. I mean, that's pretty cool.
You're in a unique position to get to help people because you've seen so many sides of the customer perspective who you're serving. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Olympics or the zoo or, the UN, working for Aramark, all these different things. I mean, gosh, Aramark, a huge part of SHFM, where you're headed this week, right? One of the platinum sponsors, I think.
Yep.
Certainly their world. So you know what it's like to be on the front lines. And of course, you've got amazing solutions. I love, it sounds like a great role for you. It sounds like really fun.
Yeah, no, it's it's been great because it's funny. I joke, and as you know, I told you I was going to tell a couple things that are a little odd here, but I didn't want to become the Willy Loman of microwaves, right? I did not. I warned my wife. I'm like, if I start dragging this microwave down the stairs by the plug, you gotta do something. You got to be careful. I'm not doing anything, but it was true, though. I wanted to make sure, like, I'd been through all these other things, and there were tough times in my career. Trust me, we're not going to go into detail, but there were times where, man, there were things low and, you can't sleep at night. But I said, I can't have that anymore. I need to be positive, and that's what's going to drive. And finding this type of position where you can use the culinary experience to create a solution for someone else. It's almost like you're a consultant, but you're not really worried about, whether they're going to pay or whatever. Like, I get to be a consultant, and I get to play with the culinary, and I get to play with some new equipment. And Panasonic has also allowed me to do some stuff on the residential side as well. So, I did a 6-part series on quilting and, baking, like on YouTube. It's crazy. So,
I saw it. It was awesome.
You know how to
quilt anything at this point?
I'm sorry?
You know how to quilt anything at this point?
Oh, no, that was all like, yes. I mean, yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Matt, listen, first of all, I love it all. It's fascinating what you get to do in your journey. I'm a big believer in proud moments. We've got it. By the way, Rick Palmer's in the house. Yo, Rick. Rick's one of our buddies out in Nashville, Tennessee. What's up, my friend? Proud moments release dopamine, in wanting to move forward and gaining confidence. We all want to remember things we're proud of. It's really easy to forget. So you got a lot of stuff. Give me one thing from your professional life and one thing from your personal life that you feel just incredibly proud of.
Oh my God. So, for the professional life, and I'll just talk about recent. So it was funny. I had a couple things in mind about this, and the other day I did on Friday, and I know this is recent history, but I had someone say, Matt, I've been hearing the Sonic Steamer speech since 2006, and after the demo you just did for us, I now get it.
Wow.
So that means I was able to get through. I was able to, figure it out, and I'm doing the right thing. So that is, overall professionally, that was pretty awesome. Yes, according to my mom, I fed 70,000 people by myself at the Olympics, right? I did that according to mom, right? That's what she said. I had a couple people help.
Maybe a few.
But, professionally, I'd say that was a pretty cool moment just recently that it was like, wow, like, okay, I know I'm doing the right thing, So, and it has nothing to do with sales. It has nothing to do with that. It's like my point, whatever I'm doing in this career path, and it's working. Right.
Yeah,
So
buddy.
that's pretty awesome. When you can feel that inside, there's nothing like it.
So great. What about personally? Something you feel most proud of?
I can see and I'm alive.
Those are two pretty awesome things to feel proud of.
Yeah,
brother.
because 16 years ago, it was in question whether I would be here today. So I'm pretty happy I made it,
We're pretty happy too.
Yeah. My wife's really happy.
I bet she is.
My stepdaughters, Brenda and Rihanna, they're really happy.
I believe it.
So
it gives you a different perspective when you've survived such challenging things as you have, where at one point you questioned if you would continue to be able to see or continue to be able to live. That I wonder, do you ever wonder if that's a part of your energy too? Is you're like, you know what? I know what it looks like to fear that I wouldn't wake up. So now that I get this gift, and it is a gift for you, it doesn't, so many people just take it as expectation, right? You look at it as totally a gift, not something that was guaranteed. So maybe you're like, it's like, you know what? I'm going to take every moment of what feels like extra time. Almost like maybe you feel like you're in extra innings. I don't know.
Yeah, no. And I think so. I think, I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky to have a core group of friends with similar issues as I have. And unfortunately, I have a bunch of friends that are no longer with us, right? That I went to camp and I was at, in bunks next to them, and they're no longer with us. And I'm here, right? And I'm still fighting and still scrapping, professionally, personally, whatever it may be, diabetically, whatever word you want to say. But I'm here. And that is just a driving thing that I'm also very proud of. That, like I said, and I was in a way joking, but yeah, that I could see and I'm here. I hate the glare in these glasses, like I said, but okay, I'm here and I can see, right? So that when you go through the different things I have, when you've grown up with people, and we've all had loss in our lives, you have to take their positive energy. When I lost my father, he was Uncle Dan. Everyone knew him as Uncle Dan, right? He wasn't Mr. Rigney. That was his father. My dad was Uncle Dan, and everyone knew him as Uncle Dan. And the positive energy that he had, and that he walked into a room, I have a lot of that. But I'm one of 6, by the way. So we all had to make noise, and we all had to,
I can't imagine what holiday gatherings are like for you all.
We have had 29 here at the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Between my wife's family and my family, we've had 29.
Amazing.
Here at the house. So I get, Traeger going and everything else going. So, but that's the energy, man. Like you learn by, I think you've talked about it too. Like you've gotten a lot of what you've done from your dad, right?
Oh gosh.
And and quite frankly, my mom too. And I don't always mean to be like, my dad, but my mom has this energy of positivity no matter what, and she stuck with it. Once again, we had hard times and we had good times, and every single thing's guide you to where you are now, right? And I'm here now.
It's funny how we get things from our parents. Certainly, I've gotten both from my parents. I remember you and I talked about humor, how
Yeah,
you're going to have fun with something, to smile and laugh. I
yeah.
remember, I don't think I'm ratting my dad out right now. He's on the show right now. I see him
I saw the
making
message.
comments. Him
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Rick are going back and forth, which is wonderful. Um, but I remember as a kid, my dad taught me to use humor in moments of pain through just different events. I remember I separated my shoulder in lacrosse. I'm running up the field, kind of limping. And my dad yells at me from the sidelines, like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I think I dislocated my shoulder." And he goes, "Well, that's why God gave you two." And he got a lot of nasty looks from people on the sidelines. But of course, in me, it just has me cracking up and I'm
Yeah,
laughing my tail off. And you know what? You forget the pain a little bit. The pain doesn't become as bad. You
yeah,
found a way to smile. Or one time we had one of those weight sets that was drilled into the wall, like bolted in, and I pulled on it and the thing came out, clocked me in the head. And I think he came down and was like, "Yo, what's up, Frankenstein?" or something like ridiculous before we went and got stitches.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it just makes you smile. There's a gift there. And so much we learn from our folks.
Yeah, man. That's what make you who you are today.
You know it. Okay, tell me this. We all, one of our buddies, Paul Bartelt, who's a FSPN member. He's going to be stepping down as the CEO of Volrath soon. He's going to retire. Paul said one time, it's not about having a work-life balance. It's about having a life outside of work. When you are outside of work, tell us what you do to recharge your batteries. What do you love, Matt? What fires you up?
So it's in my bio, but my wife have really become a Disney adult. It's true. It's true. This guy who was a punk rocker and all that stuff has really become a Disney adult. We love going down there. I mean, we're not there every weekend because of course we live in New York.
Yeah.
But there's something about going to a place and when you talk about recharging batteries, I believe when you go on vacation, you've got to leave the cell phone aside.
Yeah.
Life will continue. As long as you leave backup for someone else, that for someone to reach, right? For our working world, you can go and relax. You don't need to carry your phone because, like I said, I'm not curing diabetes here or curing cancer, right? Like
Yeah.
we are selling food service. We are building solutions. I think I mentioned to you, we're helping people nourish other people's food souls, right?
Hmm.
So that's pretty important, but it's also having your own self kind of being nourished, right? And
Yeah.
that we love going to Disney because it's the land of make believe, right? It's the happiest place on earth, and we just love it. The other times if I'm home is I am throwing meat on the Traeger and cooking stuff up, right? So it's different when you do it at work, right? Um, unless you really find something cool, you're like, oh, I can try that at home and a little differently. But you write recipes and you do all that kind of stuff. But when you do it at home and I'm throwing ribs on the Traeger and I'm trying a new rub or, Meat Church comes out with a new kind of spice and I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to try this. I cure my own bacon, right? I actually dry cure, a wet cure, and I smoke my own bacon. Like that kind of stuff jazzes me because I'm like, yeah, I made that. And you're
Yeah.
proud of yourself. You're like, yeah, and it tastes damn good, you know. Um, and one of the other things, and my wife always laughs at me, but man, I love taking care of my lawn. I like to make sure that it kind of everything looks nice. It's nicey nice. It never completely does, but I at least try, right? It always
Yeah.
gives me something to do.
I'm like you. That's all. You got some pretty amazing things that you love that bring you joy. I love that you have that. I would offer that to anybody. There's a lot of people I know through the years who um, work has become their life, and they haven't really cultivated something outside of it. But I think a part of maintaining the energy in what we do is knowing how to fill us up outside. Xena Dater says, "Amen on the lawn." Um, I'm with you. I love taking care of the lawn. It's a fun part. The garden, the lawn, like just
Yeah.
all of it, manicuring and make sure it feels good. It's like a part of my therapy in
Yeah,
terms of who I
it is.
am.
Well, and that's one of the things I had told you that, and I don't know if anyone out there Googles Conger's fire, right?
Mm.
If you see, if you Google Conger's fire, about a week and a half ago, we were coming back from vacation, and literally the swamp behind my house was on fire. It's a nature preserve. I shouldn't use the word swamp, right? But it's swamp.
Yeah.
But it's a nature preserve, and it literally caught fire. So we actually had flames that were about 20, 30 feet high, about 50 feet from the house. We
Whoa.
lost some back of the house melted and whatnot. So I am noticing my lawn is a little brown as the closer it was to the fire. We did lose a bunch of trees, unfortunately. They're not going to come back. Like we have a pine tree that has gone completely brown.
Oh
All the
man.
sap boiled in it, I guess, or something. But so that's a little upsetting, but that also means more project. I get to cut trees down.
Yes.
See, negative into a positive.
Way
That's
to
what you
find
got
the
to
good.
do.
Way to find the good, my friend. What do you let me ask you this as a manufacturer,
Mhm.
there's a lot of people watching in all different kinds of roles, right? There's people in customer service, there's people in sales, there's manufacturing, there's service techs, there's distributors, there's a manufacturer like you and like me, there's reps, there's consultants, so many. For what you do as a manufacturer, what skills do you find yourself that have been most helpful to you that you would offer to anyone looking that maybe is saying to themselves, you know what, I wonder if I want to be a
Mm.
manufacturer someday? Are there any skills you say, here's the things that I have found most helpful in my success in this career?
Persistence, I think,
Mm,
is important to have, right? When you're a manufacturer, or even if you're a rep, or you want to get into the selling side of food service, um, I am very proud of the fact that I learned first how to cook so I could talk to end users, right? So I understand their trials and tribulations. Like I said, I never thought I would be selling, food service equipment for a living. And, you know, the thing I learned is that because of the experiences I've had, I've been able to turn that into winning situations. So, you know, it's important to have that knowledge first, and then when it comes to persistence is, you know you're going to get doors. You can't be afraid of a door closing,
yeah.
right? Because you never know what's going to happen. You've had it happen. Anyone out there who is in sales will know that it's part of the role. People will say no, but it also means you can't call them back 3 months later, right? It
Yeah.
also means you can't connect with them at an event. Doesn't mean, hey, I wanted to stop by, say hi to you at NRA. I saw you walking down um, the floor. Just wanted to say hi. How you been? That kind of thing. That type of thing is really important because you're building relationships. A quick story: when I was first got into sales with Cisco, like I said, I was in White Plains. I kept trying to get in the front door of this nursing home, and they wouldn't let me in. Chef wouldn't see me. Okay, so I was walking. I had my Cisco shirt on. The Verizon guy, the local whoever was working on their Verizon's like, "Oh, you with Cisco?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "What do you need to get in to see the chef?" And I went, "Yeah, I need to get in to see the chef." The Verizon guy walked me all the way up to dry storage on the fifth floor.
Wow.
Right. The chef looks at me and goes, "What are you doing in here?" Right. And I went, hey, I'm Matt from, Cisco. And I handed him my card. He just like threw it on the floor. He's like, get out. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And by the time I said, look, I said, he goes, I will never order from Cisco. This happened. This happened. I was like, okay. I go, look, that was another division. I go, I'm here now. I'm here to take care of you. I can help you. He
Yeah.
goes, I really appreciate that, but I really need you to get out now. I turned around. There are two security guards who escorted me off the property. I still stop by every 3 months to say hi, and I drop my card off. And I got a call after about a year saying the chef had changed, right? And
Huh.
these people were interested in talking to Cisco. So the cool part was is you have to be persistent. And the reason why I tell you that story is you have to. I'm not saying go onto properties and get let out by security, but you have to have persistence. You can't give up. You never know what's going to happen. And we know, and especially now, I mean, this is how many years later, 14 years later, that, you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
We're talking to multiple companies. As a former Aramark guy, I was in their innovation center 2 weeks ago, meeting with their innovation chefs, and they're like, "Oh, tell me about the Olympics," and I'm telling them about how we ran things in the 2000 kitchen. I mean, it's important to stay persistent and be honest. Don't lie. Be honest, and most people will respect that, right? I think that's a key. And then one of the other things I find with whether it's equipment or tabletop is make sure you know what you're talking about. And if you don't know, make sure that you go to whether it's your organization or wherever, to do the research so you know it, right? That is just so key for me. I will teach if someone has less experience and I can teach them the way that I want to do. And I was always like this. People would come in and be like, "Look, I don't have a lot of experience, but I want to learn." I was like, that's who I want to bring in.
Yep.
Because they're going to be the ones who, they want to be there versus, "Oh, I need a job. I have to be here. I know how to make eggs," or whatever, even a grill cook, right? Like, you want to be able to teach them, and then they maybe somewhere down the road will teach someone else, right? Pay it forward. One of the other things from Camp Jocelyn was, people helping people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And strangers are only friends you have not yet met. So anytime you meet someone, make sure you try to eventually make them a friend. Look what I did with you. I harassed you till you started talking to me. I mean, I'm sorry it was like 3 a.m. outside your house, but I'm just saying.
It got a little weird, but we moved past it.
We're good.
You know what? It's great advice. I remember years ago, I was calling on Chipotle. I live in Denver. This is when Chipotle was back in town before they moved to Newport Beach. And I had a bunch of stuff and was talking about a whole bunch of stuff in sneeze guards. We do sneeze guards with BSI at the time before they got bought. Now they're Foodservice Holdings. And one day something happened. There was a hurricane where the people that produced their shields were being made and they couldn't ship for like a month or two. And I get this call. "Hey, I know I've told you no for years, but you got sneeze guards, right?" And I'm like, "Still got them." And they're like, "We need to talk." And that opened the door. You never shamed anybody or slammed the door when they said they don't want your stuff or they can't take it right now. No, you just keep offering, keep being kind, keep being persistent, like you said, Matt, and it will pay off. And I love the curiosity part. You want to learn. People who want to learn. Curiosity is an incredible door opener anytime you're looking for an opportunity, because the amount of people who aren't curious, who just believe that what an employer desires is that everything, that shuts more doors. People who are curious can go into anything. They might start. The amount of people at my company at Calmel that started, whether it's in the back sweeping floors or in the shipping department, and are now running that are running national accounts. I mean, there's so many stories about this.
Or a guy that was a breakfast cook that now writes recipes for a 100-year-old company that is well known for technology. I mean,
right?
Who would have thought?
There's so many doors you can open by being curious and just wanting to learn. There is always an opportunity for someone who wants to and is willing to learn. Matt, best piece of advice you've been given in your life?
Wow, there's been a lot of good advice over the years. I think years ago, and this is at Ellis Island, I was making pasta, right? And he said, he goes, we had a chef in from Barilla Pasta, and he goes, "Matt, you got to salt the water," right? And I'm not terrible Italian accent. And I kind of took it in as like, yeah, you just can't have plain water, right? That's not going to cook something. You need something a little salty, a little bit of energy, right? Like, I'm moving my shoulders here, right? Because you got to have fun with it. And the way he was talking, it was very animated. I went, he's right. Like, no matter what you're doing, it's got to be fun. Like, if I can't go sell hair dryers, right? I don't think all that's fun, right? Maybe hair gel. I got a nice little swoop here.
You look great. You look incredible,
I
man.
told you I needed the trim.
Came in tight, looking good.
Yeah. But like that's not my thing, right? You have to have passion, but you also have to have fun. And I think anyone who's maybe hung out with me knows I'm fun. And I can admit that. I'm not trying to have a big head here, but I can be fun.
Yeah.
I make people laugh because I love to hear people laugh, right? So if I'm doing a training, there's going to be humor. If I'm, talking on the Foodservice Power Plant Network, we're going to giggle and laugh. We're going to laugh. We're going to, drink out of my new $75 mug.
So good.
It's important to have,
I love the fact that you got that mug just crushes me. Jen, our buddy Bolt Bolton says you are the funniest, which is so true.
Bolt and I were walking at NRA last year, and we kept saying we were going to text her like, "Oh, we'll meet up." And I heard her. She was walking down one side of an aisle, in between Lakeside and the main section, and all I heard was Rigney, and I just looked around and went Bolt, and that was the whole time we saw each other. Never saw her again that whole time.
Those are the best. Those are the friendships that are so great.
Yeah.
Larry Wayne just saying, you got a mug? Dad, to be fair, Matt,
you gotta buy it. You gotta buy it, Dad.
FSPN website. This is too funny because we were the Crave team is helping me with the FSPN website, fspowerplant.com, and we just got some the Yeti mugs. And
those must be nice.
Well, I don't have them yet, but they will be. Maybe you'll get one. And she goes, and I said, you know what? Actually, I set up a store like 2 years ago. I don't even know if it's still active. And she goes on, I was walking through an airport and I couldn't look. And she's like, yeah, it looks like it's still active. I didn't know anyone had bought anything from that in like 2 years. So yes, Dad, he got a mug. Go to the website and buy a mug, or I'll bring one next time. I'll buy one. I'll bring it to you next time. So that is too freaking funny. Matt, let's end with this. Everyone defines success differently. We all have a different version of what that means to us, what we think a full life looks like. Tell me what success means to you.
Success to me and full life to me is no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing, my driving force is coming home and giving my wife a hug and knowing that you have that central, most important piece of your life. That is success. Because I also know if it all stopped, right? If all of a sudden Panasonic said no more food service equipment, you still need that person to hug, and that person will still be there to hug me, right? So that is success. I mean, money, all that stuff aside, right? That is success to me. That makes me the happiest. There's no better thing in the world.
Beautiful. Well, then that's another reason I have a feeling I understand why you're so happy all the time, because regardless of what happens in our work world or supply chain or whatever is going on,
Are we supposed to talk about work here?
We don't talk about work too much here.
Yeah,
look who's in the house. Anisha Owens. Anisha, our friend who is absolutely crushing it and pushing forward in her dreams. Beautiful truth. It's about people, right, Anisha? It's about relationship and having people to hug. I think it's beautiful, my friend. Matt, listen, you've given a lot of hugs in your life, and I say that.
Usually when I show up, I just hug people. I shake the hand. I always say, we hug in this family. So if you know me, you're probably getting a hug.
One of the best hugs I've been given is by you. Are you kidding me? And you as much as you've got people that you lean on, whether it's your wife or community or different people in the industry, Bolt, there's a lot of people who you've made a difference in their lives. And my funnest part of the show, this is the funnest thing. The whole reason we do it is so that that I get to tell you the difference that you're making. We have a few comments from some of our friends. What's that?
A few. Hopefully they're edited.
I edited nothing, and I don't know that I've read them. I just copied and pasted. So let's see what happens. One is from our mutual friend who just yelled, Rigney! And you yelled, Bolt! This is from Bolton. Zena Dater says, by the way, I totally agree. I'm a hugger. COVID about killed me. I needed hugs. Zena, I can't wait to give you a hug again someday. I think I got to give you a hug at NAFA.
And Zena knows where a very cool German restaurant that we went to at in the Pride Conference in Colorado. When we were over there, we went to an awesome German restaurant with Kevin from Lakeside, and we had an awesome time. And it was like 20 minutes from where the hotel was. We found this little German place, awesome sausages. It was killer.
Love it. Love it. Tommy Lyons. Hey, Jason. See you there. Tommy, we'll see you there. Can't wait, buddy. Okay, this is what our friend Bolt said about her friend Rigney.
Yeah.
Matt is a ray of sunshine. What you see is what you get. He is personable. He's witty. He's caring, wicked smart, and funny. I met Matt through buying group training sessions. And while these can be a bit dry session after session, Matt was able to keep it fresh, fun, and educational. He is passionate about training, his work, his product knowledge, and especially about food. I'm a better salesperson and I'm a better person for having known him. Wow. You know, that goes back to that moment where someone told you
success.
Yeah, success, number one. And when they said, you know what, I've heard this story for 20 years and I've never understood it this way until now. That's a special gift, brother.
Yeah.
Our buddy Z Musa.
Z
the cook. I don't know if Matt is aware of this or not, but he evokes a special kind of healing energy whenever he's in the presence of family and friends. When you're in Matt's presence, his energy alone makes you feel at home, a sense of belonging. Matt and I quickly went from being industry acquaintances to good friends who support and want the best for one another. Matt is a hard worker. He loves his wife and his family more than anything and is a genuine friend to all who know him. Thank you for spreading your laughter, your love, and your light into the world, Matt. You are the best.
Wow. You guys all stink. You're making me cry.
I know. This is what we do.
Yeah, it's not nice.
Last from someone you're about to see. Janine Cosgrove Albert, who is with AYS staff, and she's also, I think, on the board of the foundation, SHFM Foundation, if I'm right, correct?
Yeah.
Here's what Janine had to say about you, Matt. There are people you meet in our industry, and we happen to be in a great industry with so many great people. But I consider myself exponentially fortunate to have met some amazing people. And Matt is one of those amazing people. He is not just an industry friend. He's an ally. He's an industry sage, a giver, an industry connector. But to me, he is a true friend, someone I can call to confide in, not only about work in our industry, but about life and the things that at the end of the day truly matter. That is Matt. And I know that Matt is not only that to me, but to so many others. He is so very special. And I consider myself lucky to have him in my life.
They're all three of them are jerks.
They made you cry in public or on LinkedIn.
Please, anyone that knows me knows that anything nice and kind and will definitely get the waterworks going. As much as I laugh and do all that, it's, you know, that emotion goes both ways, and it's not a bad thing to throw tears out. You know, I was kidding saying they're all jerks because, you know, you guys are all awesome, all three of you. It's great, and it's funny. I find stuff like this a little bit in my what I'll call my diabetes life. I've had multiple friends call me when their kids get diagnosed to see how I can help them. Yeah. And it's definitely something special.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who you've built a wonderful community, and a lot of people who lean on you for strength, and because they know you're a safe place to lean. You're a pillar that's standing there, that's going to make them smile, that's going to make them feel something. And here's what I would say about the tears. I mean, I cry on the show almost every single week.
Yeah.
And I think it's a gift, Matt, because you know what it lets us know? It lets us know you have the capacity to feel. And and not everybody does. We don't always know what to make of our feelings or how to feel and how to handle that. And one of the greatest gifts in life is to know how to feel. And Thanks for being willing to do that with so many of us. Listen, Foodservice Power Plant Network, holy smokes. Thanks for joining me and Matt, the man Rigney. Listen, I hope in whatever you're doing, I hope you're having fun. This guy's having fun. Watching him makes me have more fun, just inherently. Remember, we become the people we surround ourselves with. This is why we do these conversations as an opportunity to surround the industry with some of the coolest. And everyone's cool and everyone's got wonderful stories. I just happen to pick friends or people I know, all this kind of jazz. But so that everyone can get a chance to pull Matt into their sphere of influence, so that Matt might be one of the people that influences you in your journey. Maybe you don't even know Matt. You might need to meet him. Maybe you're at SHFM tomorrow at the CIC or this week, and you go find this dude and you're like, make me laugh right now. And he'll come up with something. I don't know. He'll start dancing, whatever it is.
Or come up behind you while you're trying to record a video.
There we go. That has happened to me. Matt did that to me. I think that was NAFM. That's right. It was NAFM. So I hope you're having fun, whatever it is you're doing. I hope if you believe that there's more for you, you're looking at a guy here who a tough moment changed his life. He didn't know if he'd be able to see anymore. He didn't know if he was going to live that much longer. Was confronted by some pain and changed his life, changed his story. And 17 years later, here he is making us smile and making an incredible difference in the industry. Listen, I hope you're great. Power Plant Network, wherever you are. Listen, to all our friends on LinkedIn, thanks for joining us there. If you're in the K-12 Power Plant community on Facebook, thanks for joining us there. And certainly to the Foodservice Power Plant Network on Facebook. Listen, everyone, if you are not a part of our Foodservice Power Plant Network on Facebook, know that we've got a community of a few thousand people, all who are there sharing positive messages. We share stories, we share wins, we encourage one another, all things that are inspiring and meant to help us grow and connect with others, because they are such significant components to what it looks like to be people who live fulfilling lives. So go find us there. Go click to join. It's the group, not the page. Go click and we'll welcome you in. Matt, thank you again, my friend. I hope it's a great conference, and thanks for sharing your story with us, brother.
And thank you, Jason. It was an honor to have you give me a call and ask if I'd be on the show. So thank you so much.
You got it, brother. Everybody, have a great, great night.